My dear sister, I write these lines with a heavy heart as I find myself, once more, imprisoned by Shogunate forces.
PlayStation's Rise of the Ronin is set to be released on March 22nd of this year. At the time of this video, that's only a few short weeks away, but what is this PlayStation exclusive and what can we expect out of Sony's next major samurai title? Everything will be answered in this video, but before we get into that, as always, I have to add my disclaimer. This video in no way should be taken as a full review. This is only information that I've gathered from my own personal research and prior knowledge of the game. Everything that I'm going to say is subject to change prior to the release of this game. And now that we've gotten all of that out the way, here's everything you can expect out of Team Ninja's Rise of the Ronin. Since the launch of the beloved Ghost of Tsushima, PlayStation fans have been itching for more samurai games that match its energy. So when Sony announced a brand new samurai IP at the 2022 State of Play event, this left a lot of curiosity in the air of what to expect out of the next PlayStation exclusive Japanese title. Rise of the Ronin is developed by Team Ninja, the same developers who created the titles of Nioh and last year's Wolong the Fallen Dynasty. Up until just a few months ago at the Game Awards, not much was known about the upcoming title. It was here where we finally were able to see an additional pre-order trailer for the game, which revealed more of the playstyle and gameplay. The game has been in development since 2015, which is almost a decade long of development, and so far I haven't been able to find any signs of hiccups since the process began, and the studio has been fairly quiet in regards to any drama revolving around its title. In fact, the team has gone well off the deep end when it came to the historical research behind this game, which is a great sign because Sony exclusives have an excellent track record when it comes to their games, which really shows in its storytelling. Now, like I said, this game is exclusive to PlayStation and will be releasing only on the PS5, as we are finally in a period of gaming where last gen is being phased out completely for most game developers, which means we will not be getting a PS4 port. So what can we expect out of the story? From what we already know, the game takes place in the 19th century in the Bakumatsu period. For all of you like me who can't do the math, the game takes place in the year of 1863, which is where you're set to roam the immersive open world in the cities of Yokohama, Kyoto, and Edo, which is known today as Tokyo. To give you more of an insight, the Bakumatsu period was a time frame from 1853 to 1867, where Japan ended its isolationist foreign policy. To dumb it down even further, just imagine a civil war between two groups, the shogunate and the anti-shogunate forces, a war largely influenced by the invasion of Western nations and lots of pre-existing turmoil between the military powers and rebel groups. The developers have taken things a step further by letting you play as a fully customizable character who is the main protagonist, who has the fate of Japan in his hands. The game is based during the events of the Boshin War between the Tokugawa shogunate and various anti-shogunate factions who are against all Western influence in the opening of Japan to trade with foreign nations. And before I continue, can we just take a moment to appreciate all those words I just said without fucking all that up? As you travel throughout the open world, the decisions you make are said to greatly affect how the story unfolds and ultimately decides how the story ends, which means that the choices in this story matter, but don't take this at face value. We still don't know exactly how much the choices will impact the story because the developers have been pretty conservative when it comes to providing detailed information about the game. Rise of the Ronin allows you to choose between 3 difficulties as well as a 3-player co-op experience, which may sound great and all, but it won't be seamless. However, the co-op integration does allow you to complete the main story on a mission by mission basis. Apparently, it's going to be similar to the co-op aspect of the Nioh series, where you can choose a mission and challenge it together, or you can call in helpers. And if you are familiar with Team Ninja's previous games, you may want to utilize these co-op features because they are notorious when it comes to punishing gamers for combative mistakes. As of right now, the game does not have a PvP aspect, but depending on the success of the game, that could easily change and be implicated later on, just as we saw with the multiplayer edition of Ghost of Tsushima well after its release. Okay, so we know the backstory of the game and where it takes place, but what about the gameplay? Whether or not the game is good, I couldn't tell you until I'm able to play it for myself, but from what I've seen in the trailers and its console footage, the game looks like a combination of Wolong and Ghost of Tsushima. From what we see so far in the gameplay, the fighting elements are very interesting because on top of the swords and spears, we're getting handguns as well, which makes sense because of the import of foreign goods from other nations. animations. The game also has a parrying system that I predict will be very important to the success of your battles. Overall, the system's combat appears to be fluid and intuitive, and I don't expect there to be many flaws in this area. What's even better is the way you traverse throughout the map. With retractable gliders, horses, and a grappling system, the developers have made it clear that navigating throughout this massive environment will be fun. And the environment is no sleeper either. Visually, this game is impressive, and you can tell the developers have been working effortlessly into every detail of the visuals. So, with all the hype surrounding Rise of the Ronin, we can only hope that the game lives up to the momentum behind it. So, there it is. Tell me your thoughts. Do you think you'll be picking up this game at its release? Let me know in the comments, and while you're at it, go ahead and subscribe and turn on all my upload notifications so you won't miss out on a video. And be sure to check out my links in the description in order to keep up with me. Don't forget that if you want to join the conversation and game with me, you can always find me in my Discord server that's linked below. Until then, I'll see y'all on the next one. Peace.